Right now at 6, thousands of people marched in the streets on this MLK Day while others spent the holiday giving back and helping others.
We know people, as Boss said, in our community that really do need the help, and it's just really a small sacrifice for us to do to help our friends out and our neighbors in our community.
Well, look at the different ways the Bay Area honored the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And new witness accounts from a fire that tore through an apartment building in downtown Oakland. The rush to save people trapped inside.
I opened my front door and it was just, the hallway was black and full of smoke.
Heavy fire on every floor of the building. Upon arrival, we had heavy smoke and flames.
I'm here to support my team, you know, always got to come out here, always got to show love.
And heartbroken 49ers fans still showing support after a tough season-ending loss. Their message to the team as Levi Stadium turns the page towards Super Bowl 60.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. People across the country in the Bay Area honored the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today, some taking to the streets, others volunteering their time to give back. From San Jose to Concord and Berkeley, groups were out cleaning up parks or spending time bagging groceries at local food banks. Others took a ride on Caltrain's Celebration train, which started in San Jose and then traveled up the peninsula, giving people a free ride to and from the MLK March in San Francisco. The train made 3 stops on the way to the city. One rider said attending the march will teach her son the importance of the civil rights movement.
I just really want him to see like the power of marches and, you know, the history and the community that happens here.
It's important because we help represent peace. We try to follow Martin Luther King's legacy, and what we do is we just make people feel good.
Caltrain has been offering free rides in partnership with the event organizers since 1985. No matter how they arrived for the march, thousands gathered on the streets of downtown San Francisco for the annual event. Our Kevin Coe heard from some of the people hoping to keep Dr. King's message alive.
Glenn Holden and his fellow United players weren't going to miss San Francisco's annual MLK March, especially, he says, with everything going on.
We got to make sure that everybody's together, especially with the turmoil in this country, with the politics and everything else.
Organized by NorCal MLK, the city's yearly Martin Luther King Jr. March pays homage to the historic marches from Selma to Montgomery and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. State Senator Scott Wiener says the civil liberties Dr. King fought for still need protection.
The civil rights movement changed everything for people. We got laws in the books to protect people, to protect voting rights, employment, housing, and just so many critical human needs. We stand on the shoulder of the civil rights movement, and we need to learn from that movement about nonviolent resistance and how to make change.
The mile-and-a-half march started at the Caltrain station on 4th and King Streets, where Muni offered free tickets for marchers. It ended at the Yerba Buena Gardens, where San Francisco's elected officials, including Mayor Daniel Leary, spoke about the need to honor Dr. King's legacy beyond the holiday.
We honor him through marches and gatherings like this one, but the truest measure of that legacy is how we show up for one another each and every day. In a world that is increasingly rewarding hatred, rage, and hardened identities, hope and collaboration have become courageous acts.
We are one! We are one!
Marchers chanted for unity, some even with instruments, while others, like Richard, believed the values of Dr. King spoke for itself.
A lot of people getting together to try to make things better in our country and in our world.
That's all Glenn Holden was hoping for. In a world that seems more divided every day, bringing communities together seems even more important.
I think that's the best solution, man. Just, you know, say hi, say hello to someone. You know, we love you, man, and we'll always be here for you.
The march was followed by the MLK 2026 Music Festival at the Yerba Buena Gardens. All right, on to San Jose. Our city forest hosted an MLK Day of service at Rainbow Park. Volunteers planted trees, they moved shrubs, picked up trash. The nonprofit says since 1994, they've been able to plant more than 60 trees at the park. They added 25 more today. And volunteers in Concord spent their day at the food bank of Contra Costa and Solano. They helped sort and bag grocery items like potatoes and onions. And people in Berkeley also rolling up their sleeves today. They grabbed buckets and gloves for a shoreline cleanup at Cesar Chavez Park, walking along the trails, picking up trash and tending to plants along the way there. One volunteer says the day of service does more than get rid of garbage. It is also a way to connect.
It's important because I think we've lost that. You know, it seems like humans now are just like more kind of self-interest, and they're not interested in communal. We get farther in life if we're communal and we take care of everything. That means taking care of each other, taking care of the land that we're on.
Berkeley's mayor also helped prepare and hand out meals for families in need at the Dorothy Day House. Oakland firefighters had a very busy start to the day responding to a major fire in an apartment building. It broke out around 7 this morning at 17th and Broadway. Several people were trapped inside their apartments, like one woman who didn't want to appear on camera. But take a listen.
I opened my front door and it was just, the hallway was black and full of smoke. And I was like, well, that's not good. So I had to call 911 and tell them what unit I was in.
More than 50 firefighters were called in to battle those flames. 3 people were treated for smoke inhalation. A firefighter also had a minor injury. Firefighters were not the only ones getting people to safety this morning. A Good Samaritan happened to be fixing lights on a nearby building when he heard cries for help coming from the 3rd floor of the complex. Josh Brannigan told us he was able to use his own extension ladder to lead them to safety.
Well, no one knew how to open it, so I had an extension ladder. I carried it over there, climbed up the extension ladder, and then lowered their fire emergency ladder. You can help. Like, I was just trying to do my best, trying to save people if I could.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. The building has been red tagged, and the Red Cross and city staff are helping people forced out of their homes tonight. All right, power will be out again for people in San Francisco's Richmond district tonight. This time it's on purpose. So PG&E is fixing the issues that caused a citywide outage last month, one that left a third of the city in the dark. Tonight's outage starts around midnight for 14,000 customers and is expected to last about 2 hours. A small town in Marin County was facing a dilemma: either allow a nearby plot of land to be developed and lose some of the nature they love around their homes, or find a way to protect it. This is all happening on Piper Lane in Fairfax. John Ramus talked to those neighbors about how their friendly approach to saving the land made all the difference.
When this nearly vertical wall of trees ended up on Fairfax's housing element, the neighbors weren't too concerned. They didn't think anyone would be able to build on it. But then a developer moved in to purchase the property. So the neighbors took action, but instead of fighting it, they decided to buy it.
It's pretty steep, but I think you'd be surprised at what people can build on out here.
When Kristen Wilson takes a walk through her Fairfax neighborhood, it's an uphill battle.
Just let me know if it's too much, okay?
The acre of land across the street from her home on Piper Lane doesn't seem like something that could support 3 houses and 6 accessory dwelling units. But that's what the plan was when a developer bought the property last year.
It's gone up for sale before, but never has there been a serious developer focused on developing it. And I think part of it is the pressure of the housing element, and just the need for more housing. But then you look at it and it's, you think, okay, it makes sense why it hasn't been bought before, right?
The residents were alarmed. The property has always been a haven for wildlife, and it's been wonderful sharing the neighborhood with deer and bobcats, watching the owls and hawks in the trees. Normally, something like this would ignite a huge community fight, but the neighbors took a different tack. They contacted the developer and asked nicely if he would be willing to sell it to them. He agreed to sell it for what he paid, about $50,000, and 12 homeowners chipped in to raise the money.
And that, it's really inspiring. It gives me like a lot of hope about the neighborhood being active and willing to put their own money forward to do this, because we couldn't do it on our own.
The money was donated to a conservancy nonprofit, the Western Alliance for Nature, which purchased the land, keeping it as a preserve for the wildlife. And along the way, Kristen says the entire experience brought the humans in the neighborhood closer together.
I think the whole street is rather proud. It's like, We actually did that. You know, we didn't start with let's get angry. We didn't go to let's complain. And I'm sure you've seen some of the history in Fairfax recently, different sides, whatever. No, it was like, let's come up with a solution, and one in which we all have buy-in.
The sale was official on December 12th, and the new Piper Lane Preserve is officially a thing. The city will have to find somewhere else to put its houses. There's already someone living here.
So the developer, Kevin Curtis, says he was impressed with the respectful way the neighbors approached him with their offer. And it was his condition that a permanent deed restriction be put on the land to ensure long-term conservation. All right, still ahead right here at 6. The 49ers season, it may be over, but there's action still to come at Levi's Stadium.
I would really like to see the Broncos because my mom has a friend who likes the Broncos.
Aw, that's sweet. Well, how fans and players said goodbye to the season as the Super Bowl transformation picks up steam in Santa Clara. Plus, repairs to the Santa Cruz wharf are almost wrapped up. We have a look at the progress more than a year after a partial collapse. All right, I know. The 49ers season officially wrapped up over the weekend. Yes. Today, Niners players were back at Levi's Stadium after Saturday's blowout loss in Seattle. They cleaned out their lockers. They reflected on a great season, including how the newer talent is already making an impact.
It just let me know, what type of character we got on this team. With just guys having to be in spots, they never played before, just coming to learn. Guys we signing off the street, just having to pick up on the playbook and just, playing big games and just, knowing they didn't have a lot of starts, but, they showed up in, the biggest moments.
That's what it's about. The loss may be still stinging and sinking in for fans, but they showed up today in Santa Clara to show their love for the team. And our Kelsey Thorne is live at Levi's Stadium. I know, Kelsey, you're out there. You met some of the fans who were able to score some autographs before the offseason. How was it today?
Well, Juliet, I think it was bittersweet for so many people. That game was hard to watch for so many Niners fans. But as you said, some of the most dedicated fans wanted to come back out here to Levi's Stadium to see if they could see some of their favorite players one more time before they leave for the offseason. As the Niners wrapped up their season and headed out of Levi's Stadium, Landon Key and a handful of other dedicated fans lined the sidewalk hoping to see their favorite players one final time.
I'm here to support my team. Always got to come out here, always got to show love.
Landon, like so many, was heartbroken to see the Niners fall to the Seahawks in the divisional round. Still, he told me he was proud of the season his team put together.
Shout out to Kyle Shanahan, amazing coaching, and all of our backups coming in and, doing the job.
Several of the players stopped and signed autographs for Landon and some of the other fans waiting. One woman drove all the way from Sacramento so her friends visiting from Mexico could have a chance to see some of their favorite players.
So it kind of pumps you up too, you get excited to see the fans enjoy, and I'm just kind of tagging along for the experience.
Of course, this season isn't over for Levi's Stadium. The area is already being transformed for Super Bowl 60, and while it's a little bittersweet for Niners fans, some told me they're still excited to have it here in the Bay Area, just depending on which teams make it.
I would really like to see the Broncos because my mom has a friend who likes the Broncos, and I would really hate to see the Seahawks make it.
And even though the Niners won't be in the big game this year, Landon is proud of his team and hopeful they'll be back in it soon enough.
Yeah, it is kind of bittersweet. It would have been nice if the Niners could have played at home in the Super Bowl, but, it is what it is. That's how football works, and, it's just great, how everybody comes out here and supports.
When it comes to the Super Bowl, Juliet, Levi's Stadium is already mid-makeover at this point. We saw that they had the Super Bowl logo up on all the monitors, testing it out. They have all the tents going up around the stadium here. So a lot of momentum going into the Super Bowl, but the sad news, of course, the Niners will not be a part of it.
I know, but they were so close. They had a great season, and hats off to those fans for being out there. Kelsey, thanks so much. It is true, though, Paul, a little bittersweet.
Yeah, always sad to see the season come to an end. Temperatures today, well, still felt like football season. Temperature about 4 degrees below average in Concord. Elsewhere, though, 7 to 9 degrees above average. The difference, the Thule fog spreading in from the Central Valley. We'll track that and maybe some changes later this week coming up in the First Alert forecast.
So remember this, large waves hit the coast in December of 2024, right before Christmas, and it sent part of the Santa Cruz wharf into the water below. Repairs have been underway since, though it's still been slow going for some businesses along the wharf. Business owners we spoke with say construction has impacted foot traffic, but it hasn't stopped people from dropping in on this holiday weekend. The city is doing its best to get the wharf back up and running. The owner of a seafood restaurant says there is genuine excitement to see the new wharf.
This is such a historical structure that obviously the entire community is going to want to know what the new revamped wharf is going to look like.
I think that's exciting. Cruz had today off, but they'll be back to work tomorrow. The wharf is expected to fully reopen in March. I bet that's weather dependent. And for the person to answer that is our meteorologist, Paul Hagan, standing by. Hey there.
Yeah, no problems in the short term. I don't think we're going to have any storm systems of any kind of significance, at least for the next week. It's still a very dry forecast, which means air quality is still a concern. That's been attacking my voice, so don't stray too far in case it just goes away during this weathercast.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you. Just be
7-day forecast coming up.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. She's just waiting for the opportunity. Let's take a look at
one of these days.
You need to know if you want to catch a glimpse of maybe the northern lights on the horizon as we head through the rest of tonight. A strong geomagnetic storm has resulted in the northern lights being visible as far south as Alabama. So in the Bay Area, what you want to do is get away from city light pollution. Look to the northern horizon. You can catch that faint green glow on the horizon. This is a strong event, 8 out of 9 on the planetary index scale. We're going to be seeing lower values on that chart as we head through the next couple of days. So get out there and try to catch a glimpse tonight and into early tomorrow morning. There's cloud cover that's trying to sneak in. So let's track that on Futurecast. And while the clouds are going to be rolling through the skies overhead over the next couple of days, they're not likely to produce much in terms of any kind of precipitation anywhere close to us. So the nearest showers are going to be pretty far down the coast. Southern California has a better chance of getting some showers. Same thing as we look farther off the coast, but again, maddeningly close. Just clouds, though, passing through the skies over the Bay Area. We're not going to see anything more than maybe a rogue sprinkle or two, and the best odds of that are going to be Wednesday night into early on Thursday morning. So without any rain in the near-term forecast, we got to look farther down the line. This is the 6 to 10-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for rainfall, and we're on the edge of that light shade of brown, which means a pretty strong signal towards below-average rainfall. And really, the next 10 days looking largely rain-free. Maybe right at the end of that time frame, we'd see a rain chance by about the middle of next week. More likely, we have to wait in the 2-week time frame. 8 to 14-day outlook does show the green getting a little bit closer to the Bay Area. So signs that as we round the corner from January into February, maybe we get back into more of a typical wintertime pattern with some rain chances headed our way. It's just not going to happen anytime soon, which means air quality is going to be a running concern. Today we had some orange dots in interior portions of the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. Same thing tomorrow, but there is going to be some improvement to the air quality later this week as the winds kind of stir the atmosphere around a little bit, disperse some of the pollutants near ground level. It's mainly smoke from wood-burning stoves and fireplaces. Again, the presence of that storm system sending the clouds overhead, while it's not going to give us any rain, it is going to help to just stir the atmosphere a bit and help to improve our air quality later this week. Looking outside from Salesforce Tower, temperatures at the moment, mostly in the 50s, only 49 degrees right now in Concord because you are one of the cool spots with the Thule fog hanging on for the first several hours of daylight today. And that's going to be a factor as we head through tonight and early tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at the fog on our floor map and that Thule fog in the Central Valley spilling through the Delta into the interior valleys of the East Bay and some into the North Bay as well. The whole Central Valley is under a dense fog advisory already, and that's going to continue through early tomorrow morning. While the fog's going to hang on for a little while tomorrow, it's going to eventually dissipate. So we are going to see more of a mix of clouds and sunshine in the afternoon, clouds higher up in the atmosphere, with temperatures pretty close to what's normal for this time of year. The warm spots will be in the Santa Clara Valley. We're going to get up into the low to mid 60s. The cool spots will be east of the Oakland Hills and especially east of the Diablo Range, only mid 50s in Antioch, likely back to the upper 50s around Concord, with temperatures around the Bay, a mix of upper 50s and low 60s, and a mix of upper 50s and low 60s for the North Bay as well. Not a whole lot of variation variation from place to place and not a whole lot of variation in our daily temperature pattern. Don't need to worry about different microclimates because everybody has the same temperature forecast right around 60 degrees, within a few degrees on either side as we head through the next several days. The cloudiest days are going to be Wednesday. By next Monday, I think we are going to see quite a bit more cloud cover heading in. Once again, no moisture out of those clouds yet. I think the next chance might arrive a week from Wednesday, but we'll keep an eye on that storm system that's going to try to produce a couple sprinkles this Wednesday night, just in case it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah, it would be nice if it's beautiful during the Super Bowl, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice. Yeah.
Showcase our
Still a few weeks away.
Bay Area. That's true. Okay, I won't hold you to it
Okay.
yet. Thank you. When we come back, people are honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. We'll have highlights from a parade and celebration in Contra Costa County. But first, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Good evening tonight. Dangerous cold weather conditions grip much of the country as there's been a massive 100-car pileup in Michigan. Multiple people hurt. Rob Marciano tracking it all. That's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Now you can get your KPIX news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.
Music filled the Performing Arts Center at El Cerrito High today. It was part of the city's annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. The day started with a parade from El Cerrito City Hall. People marched all the way to the high school. One person who joined in shared this message that resonated with her.
I saw someone's sign that I really liked, which is that there will be finite disappointments, but we have to hold on to infinite hope. That's a Dr. Martin Luther King's quote. So I think that's the message that we all need. Is it's temporary, but the fight goes on as long as it needs to.
Speakers at the rally shared Dr. King's words and their importance in today's world. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Local news continues on our streaming service, as always, CBS News Bay Area. We're back right here in 30 minutes with CBS News Bay Area at 7 just for you. We will see you then.